All right, good evening. Had some technical difficulties and I am trying this again. If it doesn't work, then I'm scrapping this, restarted my computer. It had been a while, so hopefully that was the issue. Um, let's see. All right, I think we're good. So, in any case, my name's Steve. I have a blog at christiananarchist.com that admittedly I've neglected. I will get to writing more posts next year for anyone that still reads a blog. But more importantly, I'm also going to actually put out a video that explains Christian anarchism and why the seemingly two paradoxical ideas is a very coherent worldview and kind of where I'm coming from with that. And I think it's still freezing again. I don't know what's going on with this. In any case, let's keep going and let's see how this works. In prior Sunday night streams, I start off poking fun at Joe Biden, and I'm not going to end that streak. So Biden apparently used some anti-Irish words, and let's see what he had to say. Hold up.
Dominic Giacoppo's
Oh,
daughters.
here we go.
I may be Irish, but I'm not stupid.
I may be Irish, but I'm not stupid. I guess it's okay to make fun of Irish folks, and then listen to this.
I married Dominic Giacoppo's daughter, so I got a little Italian in me now.
So he married an Italian person's daughter, so that makes him Italian. Okay, I don't know. This guy's losing it, man. All right, that's enough poking fun at Biden. He's a mess. All right. When he starts ad-libbing with the microphone in his hand, it's pretty funny. Let's make fun of Trump instead. Trump, in a major announcement, said that he is now selling digital trading cards, showing him as a superhero. What? What is happening? He is selling NFTs, or these trading cards, I guess, for $99 each. And he had a video where he talked about if you purchase one, you had a chance to have dinner with them or golf at his golf courses, or whatever. But apparently they were a success because these things sold out the same day, and he made a couple $1 million off of doing this. So a lot of people bought them, apparently. And here's just a few of them I happened to see. It's Trump, like Superman with the laser beam eyes, wearing a Trump suit. All right. And here's another one with another same Superman-esque Trump suit underneath his blue suit, with a really bad photoshopped head on here or whatever. Something just looks off. I don't know what's going on. I think his head looks too tiny here. But, man, Trump is the most narcissistic person on the planet. This guy's insane. Here's Trump on the moon with a #1 foam finger, wearing a camo 45 hat. All right. And here's Trump, I don't know, on the surface of the sun or something. And it looks like there's a little grass on there too. I'm not exactly sure what's going on in an astronaut suit. And it looks like he's wearing a turtleneck underneath this space suit. All right. And here's Trump with a bunch of $100 bills flying around him wearing a cowboy hat. So, yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if these things actually increased in value? Like a lot? I remember when NFTs were popular like a year or two ago, and people were just dropping crazy money on this. I never even understood it at the time. I understood the idea behind it, but I don't understand why people think there's value in having these. And the obvious thing is, and I already saw news articles like CNN, MSNBC making fun of this. It's too easy. But, the obvious thing is you can right click and download the photo. But I understand it's blockchain based and you can prove who the owner is, et cetera, et cetera. But the whole thing just seems so. I don't get it. I personally don't get it. And here's probably the best meme I saw. This is exactly my reaction. I'm like, what? What is he doing? Yeah. So I don't know what his plan was. Maybe it was just to make a quick couple $1,000,000. If that was all he was intending to do, worked flawlessly. So kudos to him. I don't know. I don't really have much to say beyond that. It's just completely bizarre for someone who's actually, he already announced his presidency, his candidacy for president. And this is just a totally bizarre thing to do. Moving on. This is probably my favorite headline. This former CEO of FTX, this crypto company. This is a Vice article, and they said Sam Bankman-Fried is trying to find the guy who did this. Is the best headline I've read. At the New York Times Dealbook conference, the former FTX CEO said he just wanted to figure out what happened. I don't even know what happened. Now, granted, this was obviously two and a half weeks ago. He's since been arrested a day before he was supposed to testify in front of Congress under oath. So that is, or maybe not Congress, but some committee or whatever. So it's kind of odd that they did that, but nonetheless, he is probably facing a lengthy jail time, fine, fees, whatever, for misusing people's investments in the company. One of the funniest, another funny headline. It's not as good as this one, but this was in the Wall Street Journal opinion thing on Twitter. It says FTX failed because Sam Bankman-Fried's supporters lost confidence in him. Okay, that's odd. That's not why it failed, but that may be how Donald Trump finally crashes and burns too. And you're like, what? What does Donald Trump have to do with this? These people, they are obsessed with Donald Trump. And I realize I just talked about Trump, but it's because he was in the news recently. But you're like, what are you dragging Donald Trump into this for? So first off, FTX failed because he misused investments by his customers. At least that's what it seems like. And that's what he's been accused of doing. And I don't know what that has to do with Donald Trump. Of course, I didn't read this article. It's just a dumb headline and a dumb opinion. But what's even funnier is now that Elon owns Twitter, you see these like fact checks on certain posts. And they actually added this to this tweet. And it said FTX in their bankruptcy filing said that the failure was mainly poor record keeping, no cash management system, over $1.5 billion in loans to executives, including Sam Bankman-Fried, and corporate funds were used to purchase personal real estate and more. So obviously, that's why it went under, because he was misusing funds from their customers. It's just wild. The whole story of this kid is wild. I'll be honest, in fact, I'm kind of wearing like a Bitcoin shirt or whatever, but like, I'm not like huge into cryptocurrency. I like the idea of it, but I am so out of the loop as far as the whole crypto world. I didn't even know what FTX was. I didn't know who Sam Bankman-Fried was. I don't follow that stuff. But it is funny watching all the videos that have come out since then when he's I saw a video of him talking about how he's a generous billionaire. He just drives a Toyota Corolla and he's just one of us. He's wearing a ratty t-shirt and tries to pretend that he doesn't flaunt his wealth. Meanwhile, the guy has a $40 million property in the Bahamas and I've heard some wild stories. I don't know what all is true and not true, but that part is true. And the whole thing is it's rotten from the core. So if you are into crypto, don't leave your money on these exchanges. Put it on a hardware wallet or a cold storage. I'm not a big fan of that. But buy a nice hardware wallet and store it on there. It's probably the most secure thing you can do. You don't own it if you don't have the keys. So that's what everyone says, and that's the absolute truth. So unfortunately, a lot of people lost a lot of money trusting this company. And he deserves to go to jail or whatever that punishment is. So in any case, I saw this tweet yesterday or the other day, and I don't know. I don't want to pick on this lady. Her username's hidden, but had a lot of likes on it. But it says, "This is why I don't feel safe in U.S. cities anymore." Like, honestly, when I saw this picture, I couldn't figure out why she didn't feel safe. I was looking at it, and I'm like, is it because you're carrying a giant purse? And then I was like, or maybe it's because that truck is big. But I didn't understand why that would make her not feel safe. It's weird how people put stuff on social media. It's just delusional. Like, to me, this is delusional. And I guess she was saying something to the effect of if you're riding a bike, you can't see around it or something. I don't know. Anyways, I thought that was funny, so I threw that in here. All right, next up. This is funny. First openly transgender woman set to be executed in U.S. asks the governor for mercy. I mean, that's not the funny part. Amber McLaughlin was convicted of raping and killing an ex-girlfriend 19 years ago in St. Louis County. Her execution is scheduled for January 3rd. Now, first off, when I read that sub-headline, he killed this girl 19 years ago, and we're just getting around to the punishment part of the sentence. Now, granted, I'm sure this person's been in jail for the last 19 years, but you're like, what? You know, if... In any case, this is the funny part. This was like the next paragraph down or whatever. It is extremely unusual for a woman to commit a capital offense, such as a brutal murder, and even more unusual for a woman to, as was the case with McLaughlin, rape and murder a woman. Yes, that is unusual. But this isn't that case. Hate to break it to you, but that's not what happened here. All right. Anyways. Let's get to this. This is my favorite story of the past 2 weeks. This was in Fortune magazine. I pulled these screenshots from a Yahoo article. People who skipped their COVID vaccine are at higher risk of traffic accidents, according to a new study. This is real. If you passed on getting the COVID vaccine, you might be a lot more likely to get into a car crash. All right, let's get into it. That is insane. Or at least those are the findings of a new study published this month in the American Journal of Medicine. During the summer of 2021, Canadian researchers examined encrypted government-held records of more than 100 million adults, 16% of whom hadn't received the COVID vaccine. So, I don't know what 11 million adults this is. Maybe this is just Canadian. Well, it's in the American Journal of Medicine, so I'm not exactly sure which government they're referring to. But it's weird they're saying they examine encrypted government-held records, probably because they shouldn't be giving these records to people. But they're trying to say, oh, it's super secure and safe. Don't worry about your medical records. They're encrypted. Okay. of 11 million adults, they found that the unvaccinated people were 72% more likely to be involved in a severe traffic crash, and at least one person was transported to the hospital than those who were vaccinated. Now, first off, why is this study being done? Like, what? I'll get to the motivation later. That's similar to the increased risk of car crashes for people with sleep apnea, though only about half of people who abuse alcohol, researchers found. So are they saying that's similar to the increased risk of car crashes for people with sleep apnea, though only about half that of people who abuse alcohol? Oh, okay. So they're saying people who abuse alcohol is double the risk, but they're trying to say if you're unvaccinated, it is almost as bad as if you're sleeping while you're driving. Oh my gosh. The excess risk of car crash posed by unvaccinated drivers exceeds the safety gains from modern automobile engineering advances and also imposes risks on other road users. Of course, skipping a COVID vaccine does not mean that someone will get into a car crash. Instead, the authors theorize that these people who resist public health recommendations might also neglect basic road safety guidelines. What? Who resist public health recommendations. If you have any trust in public health recommendations at this point, if you've lived through the last 2-3 years, I don't know what to tell you. People lie at every turn. This is fun. This is where it gets good. Why would they ignore the rules of the road? And this is what they're thinking. Distrust of government, a belief in freedom. Misconceptions of daily risks, faith in natural protection, antipathy towards regulation, poverty, misinformation, a lack of resources, and personal beliefs are potential reasons proposed by the authors. So they're trying to say, this is amazing. People who ignore the rules of the road have a distrust of government, which I don't know what that has to do with anything. You think I'm just going to blow through a stop sign because I don't trust the government? So stupid. A belief in freedom. As if you have... So they're trying to say, one, that distrust in government is bad. You have to be a lunatic to trust government. They're trying to say a belief in freedom is bad. This is an actual human being wrote this article. Misconceptions of daily risks. I should have put this in there. The misconceptions of daily risks. You know who had misconceptions of COVID risks? The government, and everyone did. They thought that if you got COVID, I think there was a stat or a study or a survey where Democrats way overestimated the risk of COVID. They thought like 30 to 50% of people would end up in the hospital if they got COVID, and the real number was like less than 1%. You talk about misconceptions of daily risks. Holy smokes, dude. That's all that's happened over the last 2-3 years. Faith in natural protection, which has been... I'm not going to go down the vaccine route, but yeah, natural protection. This is what every epidemiologist has understood in the history of science, that natural immunity works. Antipathy towards regulation, poverty, misinformation. All right, anyways, you get it. These people are nuts, dude. The findings are significant enough that primary care doctors should consider counseling unvaccinated patients on traffic safety. What? I couldn't believe this is a real article. They're trying to say that primary care doctors should give counseling to unvaccinated patients on traffic safety. How ridiculous is this article? It's insane. This is insane. And here's what I think they're trying to do. They're trying to punish people who didn't get vaccinated. And insurance companies might base changes to insurance policies on vaccination data, the authors suggest. So that's really, I think, what they're trying to get at, is saying, hey, insurance companies should be charging unvaccinated people more than they do other people. Complete insanity. First responders may also consider taking precautions to protect themselves from COVID when responding to traffic crashes. Come on with this. Oh, shoot. The authors added, as it's more likely that a driver is unvaccinated than vaccinated. An actual human being, adult, wrote this article. They said that first responders should take precautions so when they arrive at the scene of a traffic accident, never mind the broken glass and mangled up situation you're walking yourself into, potential injuries to the person, whatever. But make sure you're putting on your N95 mask to make sure you don't catch COVID. So stupid. I can't get enough of this article. The findings suggest that unvaccinated adults need to be careful indoors with other people and outside with surrounding traffic. Oh, shoot. This isn't the first time researchers have examined the link between behavior and vaccination status. All right, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Oh, they're trying to say they found a correlation between self-reported risky driving and having skipped their flu vaccine. Ooh, living on the edge. You didn't get your flu vaccine? Wow, you just love risk. Just throwing caution into the wind. Just walking around without a flu vaccine. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so this was in Canada. So these are Canadians. Well, no, that's only for this second study. This other, the 2021 one they're talking about. In any case, I thought that was the funniest thing. I hope you enjoyed that. All right, in other news, another clown world news. That's so funny. All right, Norwegian actress, I don't even know how to say the name, Tonja Gajov. This is real. Faces up to 3 years in prison for saying men cannot be lesbians. She faces 3 years in prison for saying men cannot be lesbians. Now, listen. I'm 43 years old, so not exactly young, not exactly super old. But just think back, if you're over 30 or something, think back like 10 years ago, and if you were to see a headline like this, it would be hard to believe that it was even real. And this is actually happening. This is actually happening. Straight to jail. Men can't be lesbians, straight to jail. Similarly, in Ireland, a Christian teacher has been jailed and still is after refusing to use gender-neutral pronouns and will remain behind bars throughout Christmas after telling the court he should not be punished for his views on transgenderism. And basically all this guy did was right here. His school told him to stay away after he refused to address a student as they. Now, Now, listen, kudos to this guy for at least having a line in the sand and saying, I'm not crossing that line. Is that a line for me? I don't know. If it's one of those things where I don't want to indulge someone's delusions or what have you. But at the same time, you're like, I don't know. Well, he's a teacher, so it's a little different. But if it's like a peer or whatever, am I going to get worked up about calling someone? It's kind of like if someone has a nickname, says, hey, I don't like my real name. Can you just call me my nickname? I have no problem doing that. And I think most people wouldn't. Now, it gets a little different if the nickname is something that is not tethered to reality, and it gets a little weird. And I think that's what he's saying. He's trying to say it's his religious beliefs. Fair enough. But apparently this guy faces time in jail too. I mean, he's in jail. It's just nuts, man. And I know these are in different countries. This is in Ireland. The other one was in Norwegian actress, whatever. So, but this stuff's coming, man. It's already coming in Canada. I mean, that's how Jordan Peterson got famous. Fighting against this exact thing, this compelled speech type thing. And this stuff's coming to the United States, the First Amendment be damned. So, all right, that's enough for me tonight. I saw this tweet today and I couldn't believe it. I see a lot of masculinity type things that people are taking off, and I don't know this particular guy, but he has a hashtag masculinity Saturday. But this is his actual tweet. Men, don't be emotionally attached to your children. A teacher doesn't attach to his students. A leader doesn't attach to his followers. A man who is emotionally attached to his children will be manipulated by his wife. Literally everything, every single bullet point he has there couldn't be further from the truth. It's nuts. Don't be emotionally attached to your children. You're like, what in the heck is wrong with you? A teacher doesn't attach to his students? Yes, they do. If they don't, they're a psychopath teacher. What teacher doesn't care about their students? A leader doesn't attach to his followers. I don't know what he means attach, but you think like Jesus didn't care and love his disciples? Are you out of your mind? This guy is goofy, and he's trying to say this is like a masculine trait. It's just, I'll tell you, the world's gone nuts, and some of these people are nuts too. And I don't know what he's talking about. That's the last one. A man who is emotionally attached to his children will be manipulated by his wife. I don't even understand the connection there, but yeah, he tweeted this yesterday. So watch out for these goofballs out here who try to say that certain things are masculine or whatever, because this right here is garbage. All right, that's enough for me today. I think that's all I had. Yeah, so listen, hope if you've watched this far, I appreciate you. Have a great Christmas. Let's celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I hope you all have a great Christmas and New Year's, and I may be back here in 2 weeks, which I think is New Year's Day. So in any case, hope you guys have a safe Christmas season or week or what have you. So thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.